We are RAM.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting started.
Well, apparently the White House had Caitlin Collins' back. You know, this is the one that got scolded by President Trump for not smiling. Listen.
The Saudi royal guard kind of freaked out because I dared to ask a question, and they're not used to that there because they don't have a free press. And so they came up and they said, okay, well, you can't come into the next event. And some of the younger White House staff that were with the press weren't really sure what to do. And they went to Caroline. And to her credit, she said, no, Caitlin's coming in with the rest of the U.S. press. And we went in.
I wonder if she was smiling. Probably not. I've never seen you smile, President Trump says. That's it for us. Stishfield's Army Rolls. We will see you tomorrow night, folks. Enjoy your
Post, Miranda Devine. What's she talking about today, Vin?
Yeah, she's got a great story today, and I think she's uncovering something and talking about an issue that I'm going to talk about here in a second. It has to do with climate change, but I'm going to go to COVID. And I think COVID opened my eyes in particular. I never really fully bought into the whole climate change thing, but I understood there might be pollution going on that's a little excessive that might affect things. And I thought, okay, well, I don't believe it fully, but I don't disbelieve it either to the extent that Al Gore said and so on. And so many years have gone by. Then we get hit with COVID. And what did COVID show all of us? That our government is more than capable of creating a story so they can make a lot of money for their people that back them to convince us that there's something that we should be all scared of. And after COVID, I realized, you know what? I felt kind of gut feeling this climate change thing was a bit of a hoax. Yeah. But that confirmed my feeling that climate change is a hoax. And it's cost us $1.3 trillion in extra costs and everything. So Trump has unwound 17 years of regulation, particularly in the gas industry, to help all of us, all the citizens of this country, farmers, even folks like us who drive cars, because there's all sorts of extra costs in the cars to make sure that they protect the various things that they say global warming is going to, take over. Climate change is going to take over and hurt us. If you recall, doomsday was predicted about 5 different times. Al Gore started it, predicted everything was going to fall apart. People have done that year over year. But the amount of effort they put in globally to scare all of us, and then you look at the extreme amount of money, and you look at the global use of that money through the UN, through all sorts of other governments, and then our own government. I mean, we look at the fraud we're uncovering today and the fraud we saw in COVID. That's nothing compared to 17 years of climate change fraud put upon us, all the citizens of this country and the government. And Trump basically just unwound it. So that's what the story is, and I think it's a big story because it affects all of us, each and every one of these regulations. What do you think about that, Paul?
Well, this is a great topic for me because this is something that I've always been on top of. You look at way BlackRock and Aladdin and State Street. I mean, Aladdin is the quantum computing that they use. I mean, State Street and Vanguard, Blackstone, these major groups all basically used ESG, environmental social governance, to rule through the corporate class. And we watch basically these massive hedge funds gain an unbelievable amount of power over us when we were all stuck in these new laws, these new rules that were defined by how you were allowed to spend your money, how the markets were forced into their funnels where they were corporately structured. So when you talk about fraud, we see in like Minnesota or Maine or Oregon and now California, that's a treasure trove. We all, holy cow. Now imagine on a grand global scale, and like you said, 17 plus years of this incredible nonsense of fear-mongering and social justice guilt to tell you you're an evil, dark person if you don't follow along with this. And if that gets uncovered, and by leaving the UN climate accord, leaving all of these, again, governing body structures that are on a global scale, it's going to be such a boom to this economy as well. So,
you remember when Trump pulled out in his first term? Yeah. People went crazy. There was a Gallup poll that polled Americans to see how big a concern this was. 2% said it was a concern. 2% of this country. The narrative is just so upside down here, It's crazy. But anyhow, it's a big story for all of us because the regulations slow all of us down. Our business, our economy, the fact that we're trying to restart manufacturing this country. I mean, you have to take away these things so people want to come here and do business.
Especially while China never had to adhere to any of it.
None of it.
While we outsourced the entire working class to
China and India.
And India.
The two biggest abusers.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Pass at every turn.
Right.
That's always been my argument. Like, why? Well, if you want to solve this problem, why are you letting them have a pass? They're the worst.
Because they want to control the consumption market here in America.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I mean, everybody remembers an inconvenient truth, and they kind of peg it to Gore in those times in the early 2000s. But the Democrats have been fear-mongering about climate for a lot longer than just Al Gore. I can remember going through there was somebody who put together in one article, he put together all of the climate warnings that we've gotten, from sandstorms to windstorms to cold storms to we're all going to be underwater. I mean, it's gone on for a century.
Don't forget killer bees.
There's literally always something that has been willing or just on the verge of killing everybody. Seemingly for 50 to 100 years. But I think what you both have said is right on. But the Trump, when you look at he did it in his first 4 years, but Trump's rejection of climate alarmism, let's call it, is one of the things, and returning us to independent energy abundance in the country and improved economic prosperity because of it will be, I think, one of the highlights that in this second term, as it was in his first term.
Which we saw him do at the World Economic Forum. He basically came in there, and they ran their whole policy on climate change, and he came in and said it's a hoax, and nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
And then he came in with the Greenland distraction, and everyone was like, oh my God, we have to have an intervention with Trump. He's going to kill everybody, and he just completely took that thing over. And to me, there's a lot of things I don't like that Trump is doing. I think we're in agreement on quite a few of them. But the most important thing going into this was end globalism, end the green energy scam that's stifling and suffocating America, and getting the country back on track with manufacturing. All the other side stuff, I don't care about. Just protect us from global.
And by the way, just like the trans issue, this is an issue, the climate alarmism, people going, okay, I don't know if I'm still into this. We're winning on that issue. People's public opinion has really changed on, that we're all going to die every year for the next 20 more years.
What do we have, 8 years left according to AOC?
Well, it was always a litmus test.
I thought we were already dead.
My liberal friends use this as a litmus test.
I am emotionally.
They would say, well, I can kind of agree with Trump. We should close the border. But how do you feel about climate change? And that was the litmus test. Like, I think it's baloney or I believe in it. That was the litmus test that they would judge you for if you were, out of your mind or not. And it turns out, like COVID, like climate change, they're out of their minds.
Well, this is how you tackle that, Vin, with Doug and all your buddies on Facebook. Say, of course I believe in climate change. The climate is always changing. It always has, and it always will. It's just not our fault.
In 1930, the globe was the hottest it ever was. And it was hot all the way up until really 1960, and that hit its low point. All of the charts you see in global warming start from 60. How convenient.
Right. Yeah, and Damon, that
get away
list,
with murder, these guys.
Damon, that list you were talking about, I think was put together by Mark Simone at WOR. He's got a whole list on his page where he's got all these things.
Great.
And I remember, I think it was 1975. It was the great. Oh my God, it's going to be the ice age. We're all going to freeze. Yeah. There's going to be woolly mammoths running down your block.
Yeah.
I was scared as a kid.
That actually happened in my
neighborhood.
It
never
happened.
happened.
Yeah.
And Miranda Devine points out in this article today that even looking at this recent winter storm that just affected about 200 million Americans, she says 90% of power came from natural gas, coal, nuclear, or oil, citing the Florida Municipal Power Agency, proving renewables failed under the kind of stress that we just went through as it affected 3/4 of the country.
I believe we're seeing the change in the cultural view of it is because the media is telling us to not believe it anymore because the corporate monstrosities want what? Data centers for AI. So they know there's no way to run those off of green energy. So to me, I just feel like it all starts from the corporate
That's an interesting
structure.
point. Really interesting point. The data centers suck so much energy. They got to come around now.
Let's build them in Greenland where it's nice and cold.
All right, live from Studio 6B, we'll do some more news. Vinnie Mac, Paul Nolan, Rick Delgado's got main headlines coming up on a Thursday night from the America First Warehouse. We're back right after this.
Did you know almost half of Americans don't have life insurance? That's basically putting your family.
right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on a Thursday night. Glad you're in. Vinnie Mac is here. Paul Nolan, Rick Delgado's got some headlines coming up. Lots to do on a Thursday. Real America's Voice all across the country. Wherever you're watching, we, of course, appreciate you giving us a few hours of your weekday nights, 8 to 10 right here. Paul Nolan, who is Jesse Strange? Tell me about this story.
Well, up in Canada, we have another trans shooting, and no one's shocked by this. What we are shocked by is the lack of media coverage on it. We're speaking about media coverage in the opening of, one really strange and one sad case, of course, but it's truly astounding how many people are tuning into that around the clock. 8 people were killed in 2 shootings at a school and at a home in Canadian Rockies town of Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Another 27 people at least were injured, meaning many people of the 3,000 people of the community were victims of this attack. You can see the person on screen. This is a guy who turned into a girl, I suppose, is the best way to politely put it. But the mother was also the mother of the 18-year-old shooting suspect, Jesse Van Rootselaar, is among the victims. And Jennifer Strang, 39, was one of Rootselaar's family members, found dead at the resident as well. This is pretty crazy, especially when you look at, this quiet, beautiful, tranquil town in BC. But the way the police department handled this, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I found this clip to be extremely disturbing. The police chief takes it this way. Can you give us that?
We're not hiding it. In fact, you're the first media to ask the question. I will say this. We identified the suspect as they chose to be identified in public and in social media. I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female and identified as female both socially and
that's great.
Addressing her as they, them, and I just find that you're feeding into it. I think at some point we have to discuss the people who authorize little kids to get changed and endure these kind of hormone therapies need to be held accountable. If you're going to be the doctor looking to make the moolah on this, something like this happens and it's your patient, you might have to face some kind of accountability.
There are court cases going on right now that are effectively charging doctors for that, and particularly when the parents don't know.
Yeah,
that's the worst part of all of it. The parents are also a little weak. You got to blame the parents a little bit here.
But when you have the schools like, well, we're not going to share that information with the parents. We want to go on a school trip to the zoo. Get a consent form. You got to sign off on that.
From who?
Right, from your parents. But don't you dare bring up anything that might actually change their life for the worse, which we all know that's exactly what they're trying to do to these kids. And we see the results. It's kind of plain as day.
And we saw this in the Epstein files. Right? We saw the discussion. If you guys are snooping around those Epstein files like Rick and I are, he was very highly involved with the structuring of we're going to try to transition more children. It's truly astounding.
But the great point you made early on this, because so many people there were a lot of people killed and a lot of people hurt. Mm-hmm. Not one mention of this story, yet we're ad nauseum. I know. Nothing wrong with the story with Guthrie earlier, but ad nauseum, we got to have this story 24/7 and not one mention of this story.
Right.
I mean that is outrageous.
And not only that, the police chief. Did you hear some of the things he said?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, we described this as a gun person. It's a gun person. That's the way he's describing the killer.
Yeah.
They identified as a female. No, that we identify them as a lunatic who kills people. How
mental
about that?
Illness, just mental illness. This is a deranged person who shot people in a deranged way.
And it doesn't matter if you use a different pronoun now because they're dead. So who cares? What are they going to do? Come back from the grave and sue you? I doubt it, because they killed 8 people, 8 innocent people.
It's just terrible.
Idiotic, stupid. That guy should resign.
Well, it also shows how terrible our news and media is these days, where nobody covers a story that's got real tragedy to it. And we have another story that has tragedy to it, but that's the only story they talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, where is the media? They don't want to talk about trans when there's a killing. They only want to talk about trans when they're, some MAGA person, says something about them. That's the only time they want to cover it.
Yeah. bathroom.
All right, 35 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Let's do some headline news. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on, Delgado?
All right, Damon. Well, there's been some stuff going on Capitol Hill in the form of people testifying. Yesterday, we were going to cover this. Pam Bondi was up on the Hill exchanging jabs with lawmakers over the Epstein files. Keynotes of the key parts of the testimony came when she was, of course, attacked by different members of the Democrat Party, including Jamie Raskin. Let's see, who else did she go after? Democratic Representative Jayapal. You name it. The parade of losers from the Democrats were out in force yesterday. Let's get to some of these clips because you got to see them to believe them. Here is, let's see. Sorry about that. Cut number one. Here's Pam Bondi on the Democrats going after Trump about Epstein. This is cut number one. Check this out.
You know, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them ask Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so there she is taking it to the Democrats overall. Here is one of her favorite punching bags from yesterday. And again, you know what? I've said it before, and I think you guys have heard me say it. I'm not a big fan of Pam Bondi. I think her presentation is lacking. But she did make some great points. Here she is going after Jamie Raskin. Almost blew his hair off. Cut number two, calling him out for grandstanding. Cut two, check this out.
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with you. Don't.
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time restored. I'd like my time restored.
In your district. In your district, and you don't even know about it. About keeping children safe from online predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. The gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this.
Gentlelady can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing you.
Shame on you.
I'll tell you, hear him, Raskin, he's embarrassing. Like Jim Jordan kiss. Jim Jordan was cracking up earlier. If you saw him with the Nadler thing, when Nadler was crying, that was diaper diplomacy without even having to AI him into babies.
Yeah,
they were bickering like infants.
And at one point, Nadler was asleep. I think somebody had to wake him up. Right? They brought him
like
a
15 minutes.
I hope they brought him a diaper.
It was amazing. Here's another cut of Pam Bondi calling Jamie Raskin a loser. Check this out. Cut three.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now.
To this.
All right.
My time. Like a bunch of monkeys messing with a football.
I don't ever remember hearings other than during this. How much they hate Trump, the Trump administration, being this disgusting. This and all the ones that have happened. The Democrats don't even ask questions.
No.
They don't even ask inquiries on anything that's going on with the Department of Justice or anyone else that's been there. It's just been attack. They have nothing to say. I've never seen them. It seems like a complete shift in how our government is trying to learn about these problems.
I mean, these hearings are so stupid. They get 5 minutes. They spend 4 minutes and 40 seconds of it just pontificating and saying stupid stuff, and then they get into a fight for the last 20 seconds. But here's my question, because some of this I'm seeing for the first time, obviously, with everything I have going on right now. But why did I see so many conservatives saying that her performance was embarrassing yesterday? How many? It seems to be now in fashion once again to call for her resignation. And what I I would ask any of those people who are doing that, do any of them think that she's just freewheeling this on her own, that she's coming up with this on her own? Or do you remember that she works for the President of the United States and that he came out today and said her performance was fine?
Yeah.
And she's talking the same way he's talking, that the stock market equals success and for families and all. It's the same. So, again, my point is, who thinks that she's just like, why are they calling for her to resign? Like, why are we not saying, what's the messaging from the president to her? What are we doing? Because she's not sitting there just freewheeling these answers and coming up with this on her own and just acting like she's doing what she's told. So why is the anger to her and not to him?
Because she's embarrassing the swamp. The rhinos don't like their friends being called out on the carpet.
Well, no, I get the fighting stuff that we all like, the name calling and stuff like that, and all that. That's all well and good. But to the crux of, like, even the Epstein stuff, like the binders, they've created a lot of the hysteria and all of this around the Epstein stuff. So now it's like they're trying to clean up their own making. And they can't.
Vin, I feel like they hung her out to dry to a degree, and I'm not a fan at all. I think she's done a lousy job, but that's where she earned her money for the Trump team, because she went up there, she had an inevitable loss, fought tooth and nail, and did not fare well, because she's in it, the whole world's against her on this, because we want every bit of transparency about the Epstein files. We all felt like it was the Rubicon to pass through all of the secrets of the deep state and how many horrifying things they've done.
Yeah.
She's been set up here to just toe company line, as Damon said, for the Trump team, and she was in an unwinnable fight. So, in my opinion here, she earned her money for Team Trump, but she dove on a grenade because no one in MAGA likes that, and everybody in the left who are chomping at the bit right now, just loving and frothing and foaming over Trump a pedo and Republican a pedo protectors. They're winning the war of optics on this, but I can't picture Trump really not having a play on this, because can he really be handling this whole thing that bad?
I think Trump thinks this whole Epstein thing is just I don't want to say a bunch of nonsense, okay, because there's real stuff here, but I think he looks at this and says there's so many other big things that we need to be investigating, and everyone's obsessed with this Epstein thing. He kind of said that early on.
Yeah, he did.
It's like, what is the big deal here? All right already.
I think he's going to use it later.
So I think it's being used by everybody that just wants to harass and hate Trump and anyone associated with him, especially the Attorney General. And frankly, I'm looking to see what's going on with that January 6th committee. All these other things that are being investigated. I want to see those. And the Epstein thing too. That's, put it in that bucket.
Until we see one of these dirtbags actually arrested for committing the crime, because these little kids didn't rape themselves.
Right.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. More to do. We're back right after this. 5:13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night at the at the America First.
I'll get it.
Real America's Voice, the America First Warehouse. Check, please. I'll get it. Vinny Mac's here. He's sitting to my left. He's going to do some more news. Paul Nolan's got some headlines as well. Delgado was doing headlines when we went to the break. We were talking about Pam Bondi's performance yesterday. Some loved it because obviously she's tough and she ain't taking no nonsense from the loser Democrats who have no interest, as always in these committee meetings, of getting any useful information to you, the American public. They have no interest in that whatsoever. But again, I just go back to my point. If you're upset about broken promises on immigration or Epstein or go down the list, if you think she's freewheeling these answers and this is all just coming from her, I mean, I think you're looking in the wrong place. But anyways, a couple more on her performance. Delgado, what else you got?
Yeah, and again, she was testifying yesterday in front of the House Judiciary Committee amid the ongoing controversies related to the Epstein files, and the investigation into President Trump's foes for the handling of the fatal shootings in Minnesota and the ICE immigration officers. So that's what she was there to talk about. Here she is slapping around the wet noodle from San Francisco, Ted Lieu, cut number 4, as he tries to silence Pam Bondi. And again, I'm not a big fan of the Bondi, but I got it. Like Paul said, she earned her money today, or yesterday, I should say. Cut number 4. Check this out.
If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question.
Go ahead. You're allowed to.
I did not ask a question.
Crime in California. He does not want to talk about.
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just ad-lib.
This is what Congressman Lieu didn't want to talk about. He didn't want to talk about all the crime that is happening in his state. California refuses to honor detainees because of its dangerous sanctuary city policies. The refusal means California has released 4,561 criminal illegal aliens.
Yeah, so there she is blasting Ted Lieu about the California policy of not working with ICE to remove the worst of the worst. She named murderers, rapists, you name it, the worst of the worst coming out of California. They just turn them loose back on the street and tell the California citizens, kick rocks.
She was prepared.
Yeah, she was.
For any of these people.
Here she is, the last one I got for Pam Bondi, blasting Damon's favorite New York representative, Dan Goldman. Here's cut number 5. She rakes him over the coals pretty good, Damon. Cut 5. Check this out.
Understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
You're about as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
So will you unredact this? Will you
were
unredact
lead
this?
counsel on that. Privileged.
I'm asking you, will you unredact this?
Privileged.
Yeah, so there she is.
And remember, Pam Bondi defended President Trump through those impeachments. I think it's one of the reasons that she's in this position and will remain in this position.
She's a good lawyer, but she might not be the most articulate of people and when she presents to the public, but she's historically been a very, very good lawyer and prosecutor. I mean, she's no slouch.
No, definitely not. But
she's had a great career.
But again, until we see one of these Epstein guys, friends, names, what have you, billionaires.
Johns. Give us a John and bury him in prison forever.
Right. She's not doing her job. So as far as that's concerned, hey, good news.
And you think the job of getting that out solely lies with her?
Yeah, of course. She's the one who she is the one who puts it out there. She's the one who's going to prosecute it. Their office makes a decision.
I think it's coming from Trump, and I think he's afraid that if all these bankers and the House of Cards comes down, our economy tumbles, the dollar system crumbles. I think Trump knows what he's doing here, and he's. I personally believe that he's protecting the banking. All he cares about is the economy. I don't think it's up to Pam Bondi right now. Well, I agree with you on most stuff, and I want to see these guys fry. There's got to be something bigger at hand here. None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
It is astonishing, though, how many tentacles this guy had.
Oh.
I mean, the amount of people in a variety of industries, a variety of political persuasions. This guy had his hands. Everybody thought he was a major power broker.
Right.
It's not like people were just saying, I want to, see if I want to have sex or something. He was the power broker.
Money laundering.
Big, powerful guy. They all wanted a piece of him. All those emails say that.
I mean,
everybody wanted access to him.
It's amazing.
I know.
He's all the way back 26-year-old to the Iran-Contra deal. Think about that. I mean, think about how far back his criminal behavior went. It's mind-boggling.
They say it started under Bill Barr's father.
Yeah,
right?
Bill Barr's father and Henry Kissinger.
Yep.
And listen, George Bush, I mean, he was... he essentially, ran that program, and Reagan didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So.
Anyhow, good news for the Democrat Party, though, is coming from CNN, Damon, as CNN warns that the electoral repercussions of some shocking poll results might not be favorable as the Democrats would like you to think they are. Harry Enton's our guy. He loves the polls, and Damon loves Harry Enton's polls.
Oh, yeah, I love Harry.
A majority of Americans say that the Democrat Party has become too far left-leaning, and it's getting worse, and has been getting worse for at least 3 decades, according to a new CNN analysis. While many in the media have been accusing the Republican Party of being too far right, polling indicates that Americans say Democrats have been turning too far left. Here is Harry giving you the results of his poll. Harry, take it away. Cut 7.
Democratic base, right? But what about all Americans, right? How about all voters? Voters who say the Democrats are now too liberal. Look at this percentage. It was 42% in 96, 48% in 2013. Now 58% in 2025 of all voters say that the Democratic Party is too liberal. The Democrats are moving to the left. The far left is gaining power, and there could be some electoral repercussions because what we see right now is voters, the clear majority, say that they are too liberal.
Yeah, too liberal.
I mean, too liberal. Is that even that's being way too nice? They're damn communists. What are you talking about?
Socialists, they're communists. They're winning primaries, though. But folks think we're going to do better because they're winning primaries.
When you have the rig job mastered, it's easy to win.
But what does that, I know? What does that say, Vin, that they're winning primaries? I mean, they're winning governorships too. And look what's going on in Virginia. I mean, people are already seeing in Virginia.
Yep.
And again, this goes back to my point of somebody wrote on about the gerrymandering map that she's putting forward. Well, this is crazy. I'm like, well, it may be crazy to you because you have an IQ, you have some common sense, but to them, all they see is the power that they hold and how to maximize the use of that power when they hold it. And when they hold it, they know how to maximize it and they know how to use it. Nothing stops them from using it. So they don't think, well, let's gerrymander to see if we can pick up a couple seats. They go, no, how do we gerrymander it so they have absolutely no representation and no votes? And if we can run them over with a bus while we're doing it, let's figure out how to do that too. Our side, they go, well, maybe we could pick up 1 or 2 seats, but let's kumbaya and be nice about it, though. We don't want to do anything too overtly political. Meanwhile, they're doing what they can to own the whole damn state.
Yeah, they're even faking it. They're running candidates like the Virginia governor who run as moderates and they govern as hardcore progressive leftists. And then there are just ones that are like Mandami and a few others that in this recent primary, the Bernie Sanders candidate that won in this primary just yesterday, I think. They're overtly progressive and socialist and communist. So whether you think, oh, here's finally a moderate, and that moderate turns out to be progressive, or there's a progressive. But I agree with what a lot of the Republican folks are saying, that when they run against the Republicans in the midterms, I do think they're not going to win those elections because they're too progressive. If they're going too far, it works for us that they are going too far in their own primaries.
All right, let's take a break. That's a wrap. Hour 1, Hour 2 coming back on a Thursday night from the America First warehouse. Paul's got some news. What's going on with the U.S. dollar, Vinnie Mac? Well, a federal judge is at it again. It's all coming up when we get back right after this.
Big D, Double Dizzle, and the 6B Brizzle, live on Real America's Voice Vizzle, baby.
That's right, Snoop, on a Thursday night at the America First Warehouse. Thanks to Joe the Box for having us in last minute so we could do the show tonight. Vinnie Mac here, sitting to my left, going to have some more news. Paul Nolan will have some news as well. Rick Delgado's got main headlines. Glad you're out there wherever you are. We appreciate you giving us a few hours of your weekday nights. Lots to do. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Slick's off tonight. Kevin Downey Jr.'s off tonight. Slick will be back tomorrow. Kevin Downey Jr. will be back tomorrow. We're back right here at the America First Warehouse for our normal Friday night. We're looking forward to that. Lots to get to here in hour two, but I want to just go back to the end of hour one because, Vinny, we were talking about elections and how that these crazed communists, we've seen the special elections and just the Republicans getting their voters turned out and getting excited in a world that's, coming a couple years away where Trump's never going to be on the ballot again. So we've got to get these low propensity voters out. But in the meantime, even the communists they're finding ways to win elections. And Paul, you may have a lead on maybe how that's happening.
Well, when I saw this, clip, I remember my stomach turned. Like, wait, there's just no integrity whatsoever at all in American politics. It's all FUBAR. But to Vince's point, you guys go to Cut 14. Kate Barr just comes out and says it.
I'm not a real Republican. Like, I am telling people the truth. I knock on a door and I say I'm running in the Republican primary, but I'm not a Republican. I'm a progressive. I'm running as a Republican in the Republican primary for Congressional District 14 because that is where the actual competition happens in our gerrymandered district. It happens in the primaries. Like, if you're in a district that is a lock for Democrats, that Democratic primary is where the competition is. And quite frankly, while the can't win strategy is about building for the long term and like building our bench and being ready for fair maps in 2030, we gotta fucking win right now. Sure. Because we are in an emergency, like a democratic emergency. And so the place I can win is as a fake Republican.
I can't even believe that.
Did she say I'm knocking on doors, but I'm telling them the truth in the beginning of the clip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's strange.
Yeah, to me.
I'm your Republican representative looking for your vote, but I'm actually a progressive and I'm going to govern with the Democrats. Yeah. So, what do you think?
So vote for me.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is it's all just such a
The thing is, people are going to vote anyhow because they're not going to even have any idea who she is, and they're going to check a box and say, I'm going to vote Republican, and this deceiver is going to wind up in office.
Right.
I mean, this is what seems to be happening. The apathy is at a ridiculous level. Nobody's voting. How does Madami get elected in New York City?
It's because New York City.
Nobody votes.
No, I know,
but it's New York City.
Well, how does AOC get elected in her district? Because nobody voted.
Because she went and did what the old white guy who she was primarying didn't do.
But they only had a few thousand votes.
That's all she did.
I know. Nobody's voting. If actually people came out and voted, maybe she wouldn't have won. But to your point, I get it. She went out and out-charmed people.
That's the face of hopelessness.
Right.
When people stop voting, it's because they're hopeless.
Yeah, well, that's probably the biggest problem we have right now in the country is these crazy people getting elected because people aren't voting. And that's what Charlie Kirk did so well for the presidential election. Yeah. We've got to get people out to vote in these midterms, man. We have to.
Well, speaking of things we're up against besides elections and voting, Vin, one of the other things we're up against is the judiciary. And, of course, a federal judge is at it again. What did he do now?
Oh, you hear all of the pushback and the complaints from the left about ICE. And then you see a story like this. And this is, by the way, not an uncommon story. This has been happening all over sanctuary cities and states. And ICE has had to go in to clean this mess up. There's a federal judge in Louisiana that just released, I'm trying to think of how many of these guys were. I think it was 4 illegal immigrants who were convicted of murder, sex crimes, etc. They have huge rap sheets, but he released them so ICE could not go and arrest them. So now what does ICE have to do? Number one, ICE has to go into the communities to try and find these people and arrest them to protect us. But number two, what did this judge really do? This judge really put people into the cities and the towns that we live in that are going to do harm to us. So who's culpable to this? I think, Paul, you were talking about, can we sue these people, for all the sex change stuff and all that kind of craziness going on? Can we sue this judge? Somebody gets robbed, raped, or killed by one of these guys that were released where they could have been picked up by ICE, which is what they're legally supposed to do. Who's culpable to that? Yeah. Is it this judge? Does he not only has blood in his hands, but should he pay a price for decisions like this that are egregious?
Well, we saw that just this week. We saw that black woman, a judge, I can't remember her name, but young black guy was belligerent in the court, cursing and screaming at her the whole time. The jury suggests 65 years, and he slaps him on the wrist after he's already been in and out of jail. And we know he's going to commit crime again because he was a victim, though. That's what the judge said, that this poor boy is a victim of his environment. And that's it. Like, the world is just, it's gone mad.
Well, how do you straighten out these judges? This is an Obama appointee, so we know he's a left-wing judge. And one thing the left has done really well over the last 20 years plus is appointing these judges in places. They're radical. There has to be a system. I remember a day, I don't know, Damon, do they still do this, where they have to swear to uphold the law and the Constitution? Isn't there don't they sign a document that says, I will abide by the Constitution and the law? And when they don't do that, wouldn't there be recourse?
Well, remember,
I would think
right,
so.
Rick, the Constitution was made by a bunch of old white racists who stole land. So they don't care about the Constitution. It means nothing to them.
Yeah, I mean, Vin, I think what you're really thinking of there is the old torches and pitchforks to go get these guys.
Well,
right? Because at that point, nobody seems to be, like you said, nobody seems to be doing anything about what these guys are doing, letting them run roughshod over the rule of law. So maybe it takes the actual the stomping of the feet of the people outside the courtroom and say, look, you better start listening to us, and then go about having that person removed. There are levers that they can pull that can have those people removed.
Yeah, it would be called
legally.
Article 3 of the Constitution.
Right.
Well,
that Congress doesn't seem to have any interest in actually going back and looking at it, which sets and limits the federal court jurisdiction, but they won't use it. They created it. Most of these courts. The only court that the Constitution even recognized is the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
All these other ones have been Congress created. And if they can create them, why can't they get rid of them?
Yeah, you would think so.
Article 3 says they can, but they won't.
My big issue is a gross lack of accountability going on in this country, particularly on the left. So you've got protesters and disruptors when ICE is trying to arrest people. Nobody gets in trouble. You've got judges making these rulings that are just ridiculous. Nobody gets in trouble. All of this stuff happens. However, if you showed up on January 6th, you were put in jail for a couple of years before they can even get to your court case for a misdemeanor.
Yeah, without a mattress.
Treated like absolute crap. Honestly.
Like as bad as Gitmo.
So there's no accountability. And when there's no accountability, what do you got? Anarchy. If no one's going to make people accountable to laws and things that we put in place to keep the civilization running properly, well, we know that's part of their motivation, of course, but I think that's where this all stands. There's no accountability to judges, lawyers, politicians, across the board. And if you're a Republican, though, there's accountability.
Right.
But they'll come after you and do something to you.
Right. But if you're a pedophile that may have visited an island or two, guess what? You get a pass.
Well, there you go.
As Daniel Horowitz says today in The Blaze, today he wrote this. Now, I don't know if it's about this story, Vin, that you just brought up or some other judge, but he says today, what do you call an official who claims the final say over the limits of his own power and everyone else's? Someone who could slap a yes on anything the elected branches do or a no on anything they attempt and treat his decree as the final and last word. That's the kind of power that would have shocked the American founders. In practice, that kind of power exceeds anything that King George III exercised over the American colonies. Yet, we keep granting it to federal judges by treating their overreach as binding even when Congress has said otherwise. The founders of the country worried most about the branches that wield force and money. The president commands the sword, Congress holds the purse. Both stand for election. Judges do not. Life tenure exists to protect judges while they decide cases, not to hand them an independent mandate to try to run the damn country. Judges possess no army and control no appropriations. Their influence depends on the political branches giving lawful effect to their rulings. And that's just the beginning of this article. Yeah. So again, if you're going to look to place blame to the body that created them and will not rein them in.
Yeah, they've frozen our country in many ways. A federal judge comes out with some edict where the president's trying to got legislation, by the way, to move things forward, and they come out with some edict and it just stops. To your point, it's worse than having a king or a dictator, doing things. It's worse.
And again, that body is the body that we also want to have term limits on, but they have the vote on that. And I'm sure they're going to line up to do that tomorrow.
We got to take a flamethrower to all this stuff.
Paul, what's going on in Russia? They talked about you were saying something about the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, well, here's the headline from Economic Times. Russia may return to U.S. dollar settlement system in Trump deal. The proposed U.S.-Russia economic partnership includes and is BRICS de-dollarization now a dead game. So just a synopsis of it, over 60% of the BRICS nations trade in local currencies. That shift could slow fast. Russia is considering a return to the U.S. dollar settlement system under a potential Trump economic deal. The proposal includes joint energy projects, natural gas investments, offshore oil, and critical minerals. A dollar comeback would reshape global finance. It could weaken BRICS de-dollarization efforts. This isn't just a trade deal. It's a peace lever. Kremlin documents suggest that these economic carrots are being dangled as a reward for a finalized settlement in Ukraine. Markets are watching currency, and energy trade signals are being signaled closely. So, this to me would be the ultimate move, and I think it would be fantastic when this happens. The market goes through the roof, we get strengthened, and liberals I'll call him a Putin puppet. But somehow, some way, peace with Putin would be a bad thing.
Right.
I just don't get it. Peace is peace.
Or something that helps the dollar, or something that helps economies all over the world.
Could you imagine, David, if our dollar crashed? Like, what would happen if our dollar crashed? Or we're no longer the world reserve currency.
Right. Make more people dependent on it, by the way, and it might not ever crash.
Or something that stops those BRIC countries from getting those strongholds that they're trying to do.
100%. And they're fighting Trump big time.
Bankers' war.
All right, hour 2, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday. Vinnie Mac, Paul Nolan, Rick Delgado, more news, headlines, all coming up on a Thursday night live at the America First Warehouse. We're back right after this. like the blues on a Thursday night, the America First Warehouse. Let me talk to you about our friends over at Pure Health Research. If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, or reduce swelling in your legs and feet, well, then you'll love these 2 American-made health supplements. First, Liver Health Formula. Fat deposits in the liver can pile on the pounds and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula helps reduce fat deposits with nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. In a customer survey, almost 60% reported better weight management and 87% reported more energy. Well, the second product is Lymph System Support. The natural ingredients in Lymph System Support help gently flush extra fluid and toxins out of the body, which can help reduce swelling in your legs and feet. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 35% off. I said 35% off Liver Health Formula and Lymph System Support, along with 45 other health supplements Pure Health Research has to offer. So head right now over to purehealthresearch.com, purehealthresearch.com, and use coupon code 6B at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com. Use code 6B at checkout. And check out a bunch of great products, including, like I said, Lymph System Support. And, of course, that Liver Health Formula from our friends at Pure Health Research. Go check them out today. Well, you know, February is National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. Now more than ever, we need to be asking what each of us can do to lower our chances of cancer. And if you or a loved one is battling cancer, we need to make sure that no stone is left unturned in the effort to stay healthy. And that's, of course, where our friends at the Wellness Company come in. You know the Wellness Company. We have their great doctors like Dr. Kelly Victory, Dr. Peter McCullough on Real America's Voice all the time. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals that you can trust. The Wellness Company is committed to providing safe, low-cost alternatives to Big Pharma, from ivermectin to methylene blue to their fantastic new product, Shield, and so much more. The Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make the promise of the MAHA movement a reality for you and your family. This February, let's take control of our health. Go to twc.health/voice, www.twc.health/voice today in order. You can use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10% at checkout. Prepare now, don't wait. Go to see our friends at twc.health/voice and use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. All right, 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Delgado's got some more headlines. The LA Olympics. What's going on there?
Well, you know what, Damon? When it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein story, no one remains untouched.
Yeah,
and is now stretched over to a gentleman by the name of Casey Wasserman, who I mentioned the other day because he was one of the billionaires on that long list of billionaires at the AP, the AP, the Associated Press. I call them now the Associated Mess because they were trying to say that no powerful rich men were ever helped with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, it turns out L.A. Olympics chief Casey Wasserman, who's the chairman of the LA Olympic Committee, is facing calls to resign after flirty emails with Ghislaine Maxwell are revealed in the Epstein files. The messages between Wasserman, who along with chairing LA 28 is also a prominent entertainment and sports agent, and Maxwell were included in the millions of documents released by the DOJ last week related to its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. They show that the pair exchanged several intimate messages, Damon. Mm-hmm. Intimate.
Okay.
They were.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Well, it could be because she's a criminal who was trafficking young girls. But she was, of course, getting mixed up with the LA what do you call it, Olympic committeemen, and now they are asking for him to resign his position. He's taking a stand not to resign. He's also losing many, I guess, some celebrities from his entertainment sports agency because they don't like the fact that he's attached to the Epstein files.
Okay.
What did he do?
The definition of flirty emails doesn't make this sound like it rises exactly to the level of I don't know.
Well, several local officials in L.A.
Because your next story that's coming up,
Yes.
if I had a chance to flirty emails, I'd be sending them off about one every 5 minutes.
I know about that.
To my girl.
And you might be called to step down from anything you were doing.
I might
if you
be.
do that.
All right, I'm in suspense now.
The messages between the pair threaten to create a major distraction to L.A. as they gear up for the 2028 games, which forecast to generate roughly $13.6 to $17.6 billion of GDP for
That's
that
only
region.
1/10 of the debt of the state.
Right. But several local officials in L.A. have called for Wasserman to step away because he risks bringing the stain of Epstein to the L.A. Olympics. So you have that
The
story.
Epstein.
Yes.
Let's get to the next story.
Damon's into this next story. Why is he into this next story?
I hope there's video or pictures in this story.
There is both.
Oh, there
You
she
guessed
is.
it.
Come on.
Country music star Ella Langley is joining Sydney Sweeney.
Let me type a flirty email right now.
I thought that was Linda Ronstadt.
American Eagle's new denim darling.
Another round of buffalo wings, please. Thank you.
The you look like you love me singer.
Come on.
Damon looks like he loves her.
Thank you.
Has been announced with the latest launch from American Eagle Jeans, featuring the award-winning artist. In July 2025, you might remember Sydney Sweeney. Her big marketing campaign has great jeans. Well, the playful pun has critics arguing about jeans, and jeans, spelled both ways. But now, of course, Damon's girl.
Yeah.
Ella Langley, who was born in 1999, Damon. Damon.
I'm not serious, Delgado. You're making me sound like I'm,
Flirty emails.
Flirty emails may, I don't know.
Born in 1999. She's one of 4 kids. She's got like 4 brothers and sisters, and she's the oldest in her family.
Yeah. Each one of the brothers could probably beat me up, so I probably should shut up.
On the God's Country podcast in 2024, she joined her father. She's got probably a big father, Damon. Just so you know, who said she was always so confident in her ability to sing. Well, now she should be confident in her ability to sell jeans, because that's exactly what she's doing. She left her small town in Alabama for Auburn University, spent 2 years in school. She dropped out of college, moved to Nashville, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
There you have it.
I can relate to that.
You can't relate to anything.
I went to Pepperdine for a couple of years, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was, didn't do any modeling, but I was willing to sell some jeans.
Yeah.
Hey, this goes back to Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields sold jeans.
Yes, she did.
This is a national pastime. Some of the biggest models in the world sold jeans.
Yeah.
We're sexy, beautiful
That's
women.
a good-looking
that sell
girl
jeans.
right there. I'm just going to tell you that right
Who
Well, if you
knew
like
that?
that kind
Who
of
knew
thing.
that pretty girls would sell products?
Exactly.
This is so bizarre.
It's the
What do you
weirdest
know?
thing ever. But there she is in the new American Eagle ad that Damon has on repeat in his office.
No, don't make me sound like some.
Well, the poster in the bedroom's a little much, but I think that, this is okay.
I'm just telling you, that's a good-looking woman. That's all I'm
Farrah
saying.
Fawcett posters in there.
And by the way, she's a great singer and a good songwriter. And that song, "Choosing Texas," is you just can't get it out of your head. So,
Thank you.
I like Ella Langley. But I'll tell you who I also really like now. I'll tell you, one of my new favorite singers. If you're a parent,
Rick Delgado,
specifically a mother,
he's going to say a guy.
If you haven't heard Hannah Harper yet, go check out Hannah Harper music
Hannah.
because oh my God, she's got a song called "String Cheese" that is so good. Oh God, she's so good. She's so good. It's stupid how good she is.
David, you're venturing into
Hannah Harper. Go check her out.
Yeah.
strange what? Wow.
I did that song in karaoke once.
Oh man, she's so good. All right, live from Studio 6B, we'll do some more news. Vinnie Mac, Paul Nolan, all coming up right after this on a Thursday night.
Have some string cheese with those buffalo wings, please. Bring them on in. Bring you some string of cheese.
That's exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted, seditious conspiracy. But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking. They are standing. And they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice at the America First Warehouse. Vinnie Mac is here. He's got some news coming up. Paul Nolan, Rick Delgado. Glad you're in. Make sure you follow us on social media at LFS6B, at LFS6B, pretty much everywhere. Instagram at LFS6B Show. Vinnie Mac is here, and what's going on with the Senate and Trump's signature policy, Vin?
Yeah, you know, you ever wonder what the D.C. City Council's been doing? I mean, you need to stop and think about the types of things they're up to and trying to figure out to make our lives better, if you live in D.C., to make your lives in D.C. better on a daily basis. How can we protect you better? How can we support you better? How can we get you to pay less money in taxes? What can we do to help you? Do you think this is the theme of some of their meetings?
No.
Well, no. Trump's signature bill, which is the big, beautiful bill, and pieces of that bill have attempted to be overridden by the D.C. City Council.
Yeah.
And those pieces were, I mean, I can't even believe I'm even saying this. And I'm saying it for a reason, because it's outrageous to me that any city council would do this, and you'll see it in left-wing cities. And that is no tax on tips. What's with that? What? No tax, the overtime pay? These two critical things in a big, beautiful bill that enable very hardworking people to make a little more money in take-home pay and not have to pay taxes on their overtime or on their tips.
Right.
They tried to override that.
Well, what do you think the governor of New York's doing?
It's exactly what's happening. This is a good precedent. Well, the Senate did vote that away, so they can't do it. They tried to do it, and the Senate, in a 51-46 vote on Wednesday, said that they can't do that, so that's not going to happen. Now, are we going to have to do this liberal city by liberal city? And the thing is, it's the only reason they're even contemplating anything as dumb as this, the D.C. City Council, and other city councils is because it's Trump's signature bill. If Trump wasn't the president and these policies were enacted, they would not be doing this. There's no logical reason for any city council to be talking about taking away tax breaks for their citizens, especially the hardworking ones who are waiters and waitresses and they drive Ubers or whatever. They're making tips. They're the caddies in the golf clubs. I mean, all this crazy stuff. They're trying to take that away. And it's symptomatic of how loony our city councils have actually gotten. And these are the people we're entrusting to help us from a local basis. We talk about the federal judges who screw us on a regular basis by enacting laws that the whole country's got to abide by. Then you have a city council that's supposed to be there in a small municipality to make your life better, and all they're doing is unwinding really good things that are trying to help people. It's astonishing to me that it's even happening.
And you think it's happening only because it's Trump?
I think it's happening because it's Trump's signature bill. I think it's happening because Trump is in office. I think it's all about Trump. What do you think is happening?
Ronald McDonald could be the president, and if he gave tax breaks and tries to make people's lives better, they would do the same exact thing. It's worse. And that actually makes it worse than just because they don't like a guy. They actually don't believe that they deserve it. They don't believe that anybody in the country. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Trump introduces that during the campaign, and 12 seconds later, Kamal's like, I have a great idea.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, Damon, but I think this is all about Trump derangement syndrome. Trump said it. We got to unwind it. And they went and did it. Now, maybe they would have done it anyhow, but it's pure
If they could get 90% of your money, they would.
Yeah,
they would. You could apply the same thing right now to the SAVE Act.
Yeah,
Why possibly would anybody in any position of power, like the governor of Pennsylvania, who's out today saying, oh, this is meant to nationalize our elections, and I am vehemently opposed to the SAVE Act. Now, so it's the exact same principle.
Yeah, it is.
It has nothing to do with Trump pushing it. It has to do with they want as many illegals voting as possible. They don't want to take away any of the entitlement for people to keep coming here, and they don't want honest elections. It has nothing to do with Trump. I mean, he's just the icing on top, but they believe these things.
That's the scary part. I saw a politician talking about the SAVE Act and that it's going to restrict women, divorced women, from voting because they can't change their birth certificate.
Because they can't leave the kitchen.
So, I mean, anyone who's been divorced, you want to go back to your maiden name, you change that on your driver's license. You change your legal. You don't change your birth certificate, by the way. No. That's the name you're born with. When you get married, you don't change your birth certificate.
They need this so they can cheat.
Yeah. And what's amazing is that nobody's telling them throwing it in their face, the obvious part. Not only do you need your birth certificate to get your license, which is going to be your photo ID that you'll use, but your birth certificate doesn't look like you because there's no picture. Duh. Hello? Does anybody realize that, when these dummies on the left sit there and go, well, the birth certificate, who's going to carry that around? Nobody carries it around. You don't carry it around. You carry around the piece of ID that you use the birth certificate to get you the piece of ID.
This is the scare tactic you've talked about. You've talked about this before. I forgot what you call it, the smear.
Wrap-up
smear. The wrap-up smear, because a politician says that, women won't be able to vote now who have been divorced because they can't change their name. Okay, we know that's a lie. That's now going to be repeated on every liberal channel. And then eventually the Looney Tunes, especially on my Facebook page, are going to be talking about the SAFE Act being this, thing against women, or what Damon was saying, that, people just it's going to ruin our nation. It's going to nationalize elections. It's just it's a bunch of horse. You know what?
I mean, that's why they keep pumping out the Trump's in the files a million times. Meanwhile, when you look at the details of that, it's manufactured through a hotline that people, so. I'm sorry, but Damon was going to say something, but the whole thing is just...
Well, the whole Democrat premises of is there any voter-aged citizen in the country that doesn't have a photo ID, given everything you need a photo ID? Their argument is such nonsense on its basic face. It doesn't even pass the smell test.
Right, we saw the Nate Friedman video about a year and a half ago where they were talking about, getting ID is too hard for black people, and they interviewed like 35 or 40 black people. Were like, what?
Yeah, on the streets of Harlem.
What are we, morons? I know exactly where it is. Right. It's so, and they were all like, that's insulting.
To get into
that's a racist thing to say, but meanwhile, they just want the ability to rig elections and stuff, ballot boxes.
Meanwhile, if you try to go to the Capitol, especially if you're a Democrat and you have to you have to vote on a piece of legislation, guess what? You need your ID. If you want to go to one of their events, you need their ID.
To go to their events, you need to show picture ID.
Right. If I want a Jolt Cola, I need my ID.
Yeah. But how does the rest of the country not get around this? How do the citizens of this country, even if you're a left-wing progressive, how do you not see like the logic in this? How do you just get so emotionally behind these talking points that are just lies? That's ultimately where the rubber meets the road. It's the people who are going to be voting that are believing this stuff. The politicians can say anything.
Paul knows.
Well,
Paul, tell me why, Paul. Come on.
Well, I got a better question. Harumph. I should have concurred. I have a better question. Am I wrong to say that the Democrats have been gerrymandering districts at the ultimate level for the longest time, and the Republicans are starting to dabble with it, and they're crying wolf as if we're rigging elections? Is that
that's exactly what's happening?
How in God's name does that narrative stick in a normal media?
It sticks because all their followers have been trained just to hate anything having to do with Donald Trump or the Republicans, in particular Donald Trump. So there's no acknowledgement of any wrongdoing whatsoever because they're just trained just to hate first and ask questions later.
And you said something that was silly on its face.
Thank you.
You said normal media.
Glenn,
that's gone.
Thank you.
Glenn Beck went through on his radio show. Glenn Beck the other day had this on his radio show. He said, I'm going to go through a basic list of functions in our society that require ID. He said, I was listening to the president. He said, actually, I missed partially part of it because I was driving to the pharmacy to show my ID to pick up a prescription. He said, we're supposed to believe, if listening to the Democrats, that there are citizens of voting age who don't have photo ID. That's their argument. He said, so if that's the case, those people can never drive a car or any motorized vehicle, never get a learner's permit, a license, or replace a license that's lost. They can never rent a car. They can never buy car insurance, file an auto claim, register a vehicle, transfer a vehicle's title. Those citizens of voting age that supposedly have no photo ID can never use car-sharing apps, buy an airline ticket in person, board a commercial flight, enter the TSA pre-check. They can never check a bag at the airport, rent a U-Haul, a moving truck, or even buy a bus or a train ticket in person. These mythical citizens can never open a bank account, withdraw a large amount of cash, cash a check, or even retrieve a lost item from any Greyhound bus depot. They can never deposit cash, wire money, or get a cashier's check. They can never apply for or refinance a loan. They cannot apply for a credit card or increase their credit limit. We're supposed to believe the leftist lie that these people can get by without ever renting, buying, or leasing any kind of real estate, much less the utilities getting turned on or transferred into their name. They can never apply for unemployment, workers' comp, file a labor complaint, or even join a union. They can't obtain medical care or even pick up a prescription. They cannot go to the ER, obtain health insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. This is what we're supposed to believe, and the list goes on.
Yeah, and they can't give blood either, because I did that today, and guess what? I had to show my ID.
Can't pawn off items, pick up dry cleaning, any of it.
Wow. Well, all you need to do is throw the big R word in front of that, and they get away with it, which is racist. Whatever it is, it's racist.
Yeah, if you can attach an ist to any of it,
put an IST in front of it.
They'll jump on it.
Yeah, because then you get the word phobia in there.
Right.
Speaking of racist, we know Tom Homan's thought of as a racist, Paul Nolan, and I know you've got some news on him. What's going on with him?
Well, we know the first time Trump came through, the missing children data plummeted from the previous 8 years of Obama. Then we watched them go through the roof again when Biden came in. And now we're seeing them drop again. And here's one of the reasons why. Tom Homan, we got the clip. Boy, I love this guy.
In addition to taking public safety threats off the street, ICE here in this state have located 3,364 missing unaccompanied alien children. children that the last administration lost and weren't even looking for. That's because the leadership of President Trump, these children were located.
I mean, we have to save the children. We know these numbers are staggering. When you look at the missing children, it's because of psychopaths across the planet who have the worst intentions. They're not abducting children because they wanted a family of their own and they couldn't birth them themselves. This is for slave labor, this is for trafficking, and for the most deviant, demented people on the planet. Way to go, Tom Holman. Good job.
How do you not get behind kids? How do you not get behind what Tom Holman's doing and kids? Even if you're the staunchest progressive left-wing lunatic, brainwashed with everything, how do you not get behind kids being rescued? It defies even the worst logic that I've applied to the Democrats and all the other issues.
I just don't know how that could be a bipartisan. How is that not a unifying issue?
That's a unifying issue.
How
exactly?
There should be a handful of them. Less taxes should be a unifying issue.
Oh, wait a second.
I like that.
I like that kind of logic, man.
You know what? I'm on board with Team Paul.
All right, we'll wrap it up for a Thursday night. Right after this, Delgado's got a couple more headlines. We'll try to get to all the guys one more time. Real America's Voice at the American First Warehouse. We're back right after this.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him in Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
of the hour, last segment of the show on a Thursday night. Glad you've been a part of it. Always appreciate you giving us 2 hours of your weekdays, 8 to 10, right here, Real America's Voice. Let's try to get to everybody for last news of the night. Vinnie Mac, I'll start with you. What's going on?
What's going on with me is how do you drive an 18-wheeler? How do you drive a big truck? Anybody know how to drive a big truck? You ever drive a big truck? I don't know how to drive a big truck.
I've always dreamed to drive a double clutch.
Yeah, me too. Big Ben. This year is a rubber duck. Just need to go to Paymo Toll. It's a very difficult thing to drive an 18-wheeler, okay? And very difficult, especially with thousands of pounds of supplies in the back of that. And we have been letting illegal aliens who aren't qualified to drive these trucks get licenses and drive them around the country, and they are causing accidents and killing people. So it's taken Sean Duffy and the Department of Transportation to tighten these rules now. And I can't even believe this is a story. I'm reading this story and thinking, what do you mean tightening up the rules? Like, shouldn't there have been rules? What rules were they following? Well, they obviously weren't following any rules. The Biden administration just loosened everything up willy-nilly so these folks can get driver's licenses to drive 18-wheeler trucks with supplies on the highways. And all of us have driven on highways when there's a big truck. You get a little nervous going to pass them. You want to be careful. You know, you want to look twice. You want to make sure you're not in their blind spot. You know, all these things because they're huge. They'll take you out so easily. So Duffy stepped up. He's changing the rules now. He's trying to make sure that these people who are getting licenses cannot drive these trucks, and anyone else that tries to get them,
commercial
licenses. Commercial licenses.
CDLs, yeah. Not like licenses, CDLs.
That's a big deal.
Think about what you go through just to have a license. Think about, you know, if you get caught drunk driving or you're speeding an excessive amount. You know, I mean, they know everything about you. Think about giving CDLs, and we know nothing about it. Any history of driving records? Nothing.
And it's not easy. My old man, after he did 20 years as a cop driving a radio car, he did 20 years as a trucker, back-to-back careers. I'm going to tell you, being on that truck is his help on many occasions. God forbid the power steering goes out, like I've seen it twice, where the brakes go out, and now you're pumped. That is a dangerous gig.
Yeah.
And I can't believe the way they look. And they say that the majority of the people who get these CDL licenses can't even read English, which is shocking. Don't make a U-turn here.
Right. Well, then how'd you pass the test?
It's wild.
Doesn't matter. They were letting them get licenses left and right.
And that was especially Gavin Newsom and the kooks in California.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing something about it, and it's a story. It shouldn't be a story. It should never have allowed it to happen. Yeah. So that's what I got.
All right, very good. Rick Delgado, what else is going on in the headlines?
Well, Damon, this erupted today in the Senate hearing between Josh Hawley and one of the Democrats' favorite criminals. His name is Keith Ellison. Josh Hawley let him have it pretty good during this contentious exchange. Hawley accused Ellison of blatant corruption, alleging he worked with individuals later convicted in a scandal to shield them from investigators, accepting a $10,000 campaign bribe with just 9 days after pledging to assist their cause. Of course, Ellison was trying to shoot back, but Hawley was reading right from the transcript. I guess this whole thing was recorded, 54 minutes long, and Hawley was reading directly from the transcript. He then told the Minnesota Attorney General that he belongs in jail, prompting Ellison to respond, well, we'll see what you can do about it. And that seems to be what the basic response from all Democrats is they don't really think you can do anything about it because nobody's done anything.
Yeah, good luck.
Which is unfortunate. It's an amazing thing, but that's the way he feels, and he's empowered that way because that is what has always been. Nobody's ever held any of these people accountable for it.
Oh, yeah.
So here's cut number 9. I know Paul was looking forward to seeing these.
Oh, I've seen it. I love it.
Here's Josh Hawley taking on Keith Ellison, cut number 9. Check.
You made pledge after pledge to them. You said, we've got to make sure this guy who's investigating them stops it. You said, you have my attention. I'm concerned about this. You said, let's go fight these people, meaning the people who were investigating the fraud. Why'd you do it? Why'd you help them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Please, we're all ears.
So first of all, you're cherry picking quotes out of there.
Why did you help them?
I thought you were going to let me answer.
Why did you help them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Why did you help?
You let me answer, and I'll answer you.
Tell the truth, and I'll let you answer.
I will tell the truth.
Good.
Let's do that.
That'd be a nice change. Why'd you help?
Now see, Mr. Chairman, I didn't come here to be insulted. I came here voluntarily.
You came here for the truth. Let's have it. Why did you help them? The quotes are here. They're in black and white, and every member of this audience can listen to the recording. It's 54 minutes long. It's all in public. You can Google it right now and listen to it.
And listen to it all.
Why'd you help them?
Oof.
Yeah.
And that opens up even worse. That opens up, are you, so-and-so? He goes, you know who I am. And they went head to head. I mean, it was brutal. And it got worse as it went on, calling each other criminals.
There's no excuse here.
The exchange is about 7 minutes long. I only grabbed a couple. Here's the next clip that I grabbed, cut number 10, where he clashes with Ellison again. Check this out, cut 10.
Why'd you take their money? Why'd you take their money?
I didn't.
You took
$10,000. No, that's a false statement.
$10,000 9 days after the meeting.
False statement.
You took $10,000. Here's what happened. They went to your office. They solicited money from you. They solicited help from you.
That's also wrong.
They came to your office. It was your official office. You met with them for 54 minutes.
No, they
asked you for help. You pledged it to them, and they talked repeatedly about money. In fact, it's all they talked about. Money. They said, we will put our dollars in the right place. We will support candidates that will fight to protect our interests. You replied, that's right. They said that you are securing your donor base and securing your power base. You can act the way you want. You replied, money is freedom. Yeah. They said the amount of money circulating, I'm reading the transcript, the amount of money circulating in our community today is powerful, and we haven't realizing it in a meaningful way. And you said, give me the specifics. And 9 days later, you took $10,000 from people who were then indicted. It's in your reports. Why'd you do it?
Yeah.
Money, more money.
More money, more money, more. It was like an In Living Color skit all over again. But it was Josh Hawley laying into Keith Ellison.
How guilty does that guy look, just on a conversational basis? I mean,
the corruption in Minnesota, and he's supposed to be the top cop, right?
Yeah.
Come on now. He ain't getting rich, please.
And he has done absolutely zero about it. As you can hear plainly there, it sounds like he was involved in making sure it got covered up. Lastly, here we go with Ron Johnson.
I did not know that.
The senator from Minnesota. Here he is grilling Ellison and taking the task over basically what the Democrats have done in that state by ginning up the rioters. Cut 11, check this out.
I, as a government official, would have said, back off. Let us work with ICE. Let's cooperate with them. Let's see if we can't de-escalate this. But Attorney General, you did the exact opposite. And 2 people are dead because you encouraged them to put themselves into harm's way. And now you're exploiting those 2 martyrs. That was a tragedy. It never should have happened.
Yeah, so there he is leaning into the Attorney General from the state of Minnesota. Just another fiery day on the Hill there, Damon.
That's true.
Any UFO stuff?
I'm just not sure what we kind of know Keith Ellison and who he is. I'm not really sure, other than Holly maybe just wanting to say all that. I'm not really sure what that accomplishes, though.
I think it's important to get it out there for people to see.
Me too. I think it's the time to expose these.
Yeah. But no one who knows Keith Ellison is surprised by any of that. It's not like he's breaking new ground.
But I do think that this will be headlines all over the liberal side of the media, where they'll start talking about these allegations, and a handful of people will say, hey, man, he's in power. Scams are everywhere. He's getting a piece of the pie. Let's be honest. People can read through it. They may not want to admit it, but they can see it.
Yeah. So.
All right, as always, we salute our law enforcement, all emergency personnel, all the truckers, all our farmers, everybody that keeps the country safe and moving forward. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron Friend, great job as always. Special thanks to everybody here at the America First Warehouse for a Thursday night show, having us in last minute. We appreciate it. Joe the Box and his team will be back tomorrow night for our regularly scheduled Friday night show right here at the America First Warehouse. Have a great night, everybody. Most of all, thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. Enjoy the rest of your night. And again, we'll see you tomorrow night right back here at the America First Warehouse, live from Studio 6B.
exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
So I take a Sabbath every Saturday. Turn my phone off, no work, just kids, just family. It's an amazing blessing. Every Saturday, totally off. It's amazing how much work you can get done in 6 days, though.
I believe that honoring the Sabbath is the commandment that allows you to honor the other 9 commandments. When you're honoring the Sabbath, it's easier to have no other gods before God because that day is built in time as a temple, as a sanctuary to put God first, to not have idols.
If you are feeling overrun by society, you might be feeling depressed or anxious, turn your phone off for one day. No social media, no work. Your mental health will improve dramatically. You can hang out with friends, you can go for a walk, but don't work for one day. That is a day for worship. That is a day for the Lord. That is a day to go be with God. That is a day to read your Bible and be out of the busyness and the hurriedness and the noise